I've been talking about a lot of whales getting in. Of course, they want to get in. They don't want to miss out on a bull run. Who wants to miss out on a bull run? And this could be the best bull run we have ever seen. So that's why $1 billion worth of Bitcoin left the exchange or exchanges, probably leaving most of it from, Coinbase, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Periodically, we do see a ton of Bitcoin leave the exchanges. Normally speaking, when this much leaves in a single day, it's because there's some big whale that decided to do an OTC buy with the likes of someone like Coinbase, and then they withdraw it. They withdraw it out. And we're seeing a lot more of that. You notice that there's a lot more reds than greens on this chart, because there's a lot more withdrawals than deposits. And that's not going to change. I've been saying this. When it comes to Bitcoin, if you ignore everything out there, all the macros, all the fundamentals, the halving events, everything, the technicals, the only thing that really matters in terms of driving the price up for Bitcoin is supply and demand. We have a set supply, and the inflation rate keeps getting cut in half, and the demand keeps on going up. So nothing else mattered. Just know that due to supply coming down and demand going up, that alone will drive Bitcoin up to the moon. It really boils down to supply and demand. And demand keeps on increasing and supply keeps on decreasing. And we only have so much Bitcoin, and there will never be more. So that's why it's going to go up to the moon, especially with spot ETF approvals. When all the institutions and the funds start FOMO into Bitcoin, that's when we will see that scarcity factor really kick in very quickly. And it finally happened. Apple is underperforming. They had a lot of hiccups this year. The biggest company by market cap on the planet. They saw their revenue slide for 4 consecutive quarters. We've never ever seen that before in Apple's history. But yeah, it happened. Well, actually, I don't know if it's in history, but it's just last 22 years. Apple has been around longer than 22 years. So it just goes to show you, 2023, even though it's a good recovery year, we're still coming off from, our COVID period. Things were still not as peachy as before. And we had high inflation with the rate hikes and all the macro stuff. Yeah, a lot of companies struggled. They didn't do so well. But you know who did well? Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related stocks, because Coinbase is doing well. If you look at Coinbase 1 year or year to date, look at that. Look at that chart. It's up hundreds of percent for 2023, down slightly right now. But Bitcoin also did the same thing. Even though some of these big tech giants not doing well, Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related companies did do very well. All right, in terms of some technicals, let's look at where we are right now in the bull run. You can see we're very early. We're very early. We're about 38% off from our top. So we have come up tremendously already this year, especially within the last 3 months of this year. But 2024 and 2025 is going to drive us to new peaks again. We don't know where. This one is saying that we're going to head to 350,000. A lot of conservative numbers are like 150, 200. A lot of normal numbers are like 250, 275. And a lot of bullish numbers are coming in at 300, 350, 500,000. Really, we just don't know. We just don't know. Again, this puts things into perspective. I just realized my camera froze. My camera keeps freezing. I apologize, guys. I don't know why. So I have to use my side camera. It just froze again. Too much bullishness for my computer, but there we go. That looks a lot better. Anyways, this again shows how early we are in this cycle. Like, you look at previous cycles, look at how high Bitcoin went. We're nowhere near the top. Again, 300,000, 400,000. This one is predicting that we'll go into the 400,000 range. And in terms of Bitcoin related stocks, a lot of you guys have been asking about mining stocks like Mara and Riot. They are doing very, very, very well. But also other Bitcoin related stocks like Coinbase just formed a 52-week high yesterday. MicroStrategy formed a 52-week high yesterday. I mean, anything that's related to Bitcoin are surging right now, and that's not going to stop in 2024. It's not going to stop in 2024. It's only going to accelerate. I don't know what it is. Let's look at it real quick. Like Coinbase and HUD and Mara's taking a breather today, but man, they kept going. We'll see if they could turn around tomorrow. I mean, later today or tomorrow. But what else? Marathon Digital becomes most traded stock of the day, even more so than Tesla, Apple, and Amazon. That's pretty amazing if you think about it. There are a lot of people that are really into Bitcoin miners because they know the halving event is coming up in April, and they know that the Bitcoin miners, they just keep hashing away, and one day they're gonna be like, I don't know like how to say it exactly, but you know how like the Middle East controls so much oil. You got all those oil tycoons over there, right? These Bitcoin miners are gonna be the same way. They're gonna be so large and so rich with holding so much Bitcoin in the future. That's how it's going to be. Here's something else that's also bullish. If you look at how much Bitcoin is being bought and transferred away from exchanges like Coinbase, for example, it's hard to see because it's not zoomed in. But if you do zoom in, you'll realize that we had 30,000 Bitcoins. 30,000 Bitcoins leaving Coinbase in the last few days. 30,000. That's a lot. One of the largest outflows we have seen going all the way back to 2022. Of course, there's been big outflows in 2022, but I mean, these are enormous buys. They're not sells. If you're wondering, oh, doesn't that mean there's people just sold? No, these are actually just being withdrawn from Coinbase, meaning that they're going into a self-custody wallet or a custodian, right? But basically, these big boys, whoever they are, not all of them reveal themselves like MicroStrategy when they make a big purchase. In fact, most do not. What they're doing is buying and accumulating, and they're keeping it a secret. They don't want anyone to know, right? Not everyone's like MicroStrategy. But I think there will be a lot more that reveal themselves in 2024. Love to see some of these big tech companies with endless amount of cash just sitting there get involved with Bitcoin, like the likes of Apple and Microsoft. I think they both have. Well, Microsoft may not anymore because they spent an enormous amount on Activision Blizzard, but at one point in time, they had over $200 billion in cash. Apple, I still believe, has that, if not like over $300 billion now. Even if one of them just said, hey, you know what? Let's put like 10 billion or 20 billion or 30 billion in Bitcoin and hold in our treasuries, just like MicroStrategy. Man, that's going to be enormous. It's going to be huge.